It takes a strong desire to feel good to create your own reality. And a little bit of contrast certainly puts a lot in the vortex. But you cannot get to where you want to be by focusing for long periods of time on things that cause you to feel fear. Because the fear is the indication that you are deviating from the solution and are still focused upon the problem. The question that you want to ask yourself is, how can I be a cooperative component who can receive the solution? More people are step one-ing and creating the vortex than are standing in the vortex receiving the solution. But one who is connected to that stream is more powerful than millions who are not, you see. So if you could step back just for a moment from the thinking that I need to get into the vortex or I need to get into the receiving mode so that I can receive the solution, so that I can pronounce it and explain it to all mankind, and instead say, it is my desire to get into the vortex or into the receiving mode so that I can feel my utter well-being and feel the alignment between me and me. If that could be why you're wanting to be in the receiving mode, now you're in the receiving mode. You're not complicating it with that impossible task of getting one other person to understand you or listen to you or take action because of something that you've said. And now solutions come to you. And a mighty current of aligned beings begin summoning this energy and flowing it forward, and all kinds of solutions begin to happen. And you can stand ready for the solution ideas that will flow to you, along with millions of others who are standing ready for the solution. This movement of receiving mode is a large movement. It always has been, and it always will be, because it is your natural inclination to feel good. And it is so abhorrent when you feel hate. So what that's all about is humans often needing or wanting to see the manifestation before they can feel that way, because it feels sort of freaky. Others will accuse you of putting your head in the sand, not facing reality. And you need to know for sure that you're facing a vibrational reality, because when you face vibrational reality, you help bring the vortex forward into human experience. You just do. But if they can embarrass you into facing reality and trying to join a side, all the while depriving yourself of your true receiving mode and all of your replenishing energy, then you won't be able to sustain. So if you can trust that your focus and therefore better feeling, and it takes practice, is a thought turning to a thing, and you can revel in the relief even before the thought has turned to the thing, then you're going to make it through this just fine. Don't be so hard on yourself. And here you're going to get some understanding about this. The reason that working for someone else has advantages, disadvantages too, because you're less free. But the reason it has advantages is because usually, not always, but usually they already have some momentum going. So as you hear them, see them, talk to them, you're able to dovetail with the momentum that they already have going. And then you can do the more unique or specific things that they're asking of you. Where when you are working for yourself, you have a broader repertoire of things, some of which you don't have momentum for. And so that momentum, the understanding and concept of momentum, dovetails with law of attraction more significantly than any other word or any other concept, because that's what law of attraction does. It causes momentum. But when you offer opposing thoughts close on the heels of each other, then momentum is hindered, because I want it, but I want it because allows a little more momentum to get going. I want it, but slows the momentum right away. So you're just talking about momentum that's already underway. Now, of course, you could work for someone else and experience the benefit of that momentum, and then later feel that your toes of freedom are being trampled, and then you could cause that momentum to slow because there is some other reason that you're pushing against. So nobody does negative segment intending. You do that by default. You do that because negative momentum is sweeping you. You get what we're getting at? So it's easy. So many people talk about most businesses fail within da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's unless you've got really good backing. There's all that stuff that has been said to you or that you've picked up along your way that is in the way of any momentum. So almost as soon as the idea comes, it is contradicted by a belief. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think, and it is simply unnecessary. By deliberately segment intending, you will get the momentum going. Hear this. By deliberately segment intending, you will get the momentum of your desire moving fast enough within you that it does not matter what you have believed about that subject in the past. Powerful. And then you find yourself just thinking about it because it's fun to think about it. Sort of the daydreams, the imaginings, ideas coming and just running with them. Have you been listening to us for a little while? The life that you've been living makes this seem reasonable to you. You're feeling resonance with it because the laws of the universe are consistent. And so as you just watch a little bit what's happening with you and then apply them with the ideas of these laws that we are speaking about, it does sort of help you with some momentum. The reason that we ask is because there is a process that we offered some years ago. It's one of 22 processes in the back of the Ask and It Is Given book, which read only this process. This process will help you, but here it is. Segment intending says, here I am in a moment in time, and a new segment is simply a new focus where things have changed just a little bit in terms of your intention. So for example, when you get into your vehicle, that's a new segment. When you walk into your office, that's a new segment. When you answer the telephone, that's a new segment. When you make a telephone call, that's a new segment. And the power behind deliberate segment intending is focus. It's not being distracted. It's deciding what I want. It's focusing in a way that causes less resistance, which allows more momentum. Because resistance is the only thing that slows momentum. So for example, let's say that you were going to talk about a big segment of your life, a major segment like living happily ever after. So you say, in this segment of my life, I intend to do things that feel good to me and focus upon things that feel good to me and criticize as little as possible and enjoy life. Now that's really general, but it's a big segment and there is momentum in that. So if you were to address your big feeling of living happily ever after once a day, just by saying, I intend to feel happy, and you'd get momentum going about that. Now, we know that you do that in just as significant of ways every day. Because you are someone who revels in life, you are a natural appreciator, your creative juices flow and you really like it. So we're just offering you an example of a really general segment intending. Let's say that you are on your way to work and you're wanting to set the segment even before you get there. So you're saying, in this segment while I'm driving or transporting myself to work, it is my intention to feel really good. It's my intention to breathe deeply and refresh myself as much as possible. It's my intention to be fueled and ready. It's my intention to be as clear as possible. It's my intention to be as kind and nice to the people that I'm interacting with as possible. And it's my intention to feel really good at the end of this day about how this day unfolded. Now, that's a really good segment intending, and it begins momentum that's already underway for you. But by making a statement like that each day as you are moving to work, that momentum gets stronger and stronger, so that thoughts that might resist it or thoughts that might flow in opposition to it are not as likely to get started because of the momentum that you're accomplishing with your deliberate thought. Let's say that while you are in that process of driving to work or on your way to work, that you set a segment within the segment, and that is part of this feeling good. I like the idea of imagining or anticipating my own self-employment. And maybe that's as far as that goes on the first 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 segments. I'm looking forward to anticipating my own self-employment. Now, that's the momentum. So just with that little bit of priming the pump, so to speak, you're going to find yourself one day driving to work in the receptive mode, and you're going to feel a thought come to you about personal employment. Now, you're already good at what you do. You understand what needs to be done or what can be done. But now you decide, because there's some momentum going, to take this segment intending just a little further. And so you say to yourself, I like being fiscally responsible. And I like being in charge of my own action during the day. And I love following my own impulses. That's the thing about creativity that is so delicious to me. I love being able to follow my own feeling or whim. So that's as far as it goes that day. In other words, more momentum. And then you find yourself wanting to think about it again while you're on your way to work. But this time it's becoming more specific to you because more momentum is flowing, but you're still carrying through this idea of segment intending. So you're thinking, in this segment, I'm going to think about my own business. My own business is going to be very prosperous. My own business in the beginning may just be me as the creative genius, or maybe another. I like the idea of co-creation. I like the idea of collaboration. That may be as far as that goes, but you see how the momentum is going. Now, the next time you sit to segment intend relative to this, you may think, I'll need some financial backers, or I want some financial partners, or I'm looking forward to meeting the right people who want to invest in my idea. It's going to be fun to attract the fiscally responsible people who can do the details that I don't really want to do. By segment intending just a little bit, which means just take a thought and deliberately think about it the way you mean to think about it. It means in this segment, I intend to think this. That's all segment intending means. But what happens is, as you are doing more and more segment intending, more and more momentum about these subjects takes place. So what's happening is you're preparing yourself for the receiving mode so that you're in the right place at the right time for an idea to come or for someone to rendezvous with you. You know how when you meet up with someone who's got a really good idea and juices flow, how good it can sometimes be. But most people don't then let it be. They kill it with their doubt because they haven't segment intended themselves into positive expectation. Now that's a new understanding of segment intending. We're coupling it with the thing that has always made it work, which is momentum. You evoked it from us because of the power of your desire, and because you're like most people, you can talk yourself in or out of about anything. You can, can't you? Segment intending is talking yourself in to alignment with source energy relative to a subject. I'm intentionally having these thoughts because most people who have negative thoughts about possibilities or derogatory thoughts about themselves or others are not doing it intentionally. No one starts a segment by saying, while I'm driving to work today, I'm going to be as hard on myself as possible.